I, Dr. Anup Kumar, Assistant Professor in Department of Pediatrics, GMC Betia. I will discuss today bronchiolitis in children. American Academy of Pediatrics defines bronchiolitis as acute inflammation, edema, and necrosis of epithelial cells lining small airways, increased mucus production, and bronchospasm. First episode of wheezing in a child younger than 12 to 24 months who has physical finding of viral respiratory infection and has no other explanation for wheezing such as pneumonia or atopy. Bronchiolitis is the most common lower respiratory tract infection in infants. RSV accounts for 50 to 80% of causes, and other causes are parainfluenza viruses, adenovirus, rhinovirus, influenza, mycoplasma pneumoniae. Up to 3% of all children are hospitalized with bronchiolitis in their first year of life. Despite high prevalence of bronchiolitis, little consensus exists on the optimal management of the disease. Epidemiology: bronchiolitis typically affects children younger than 2 years of age, with peak incidence between 2 to 6 months of age. Bronchiolitis occurs in epidemics during winter months. In India, outbreaks occur from September to March. Pathology: viruses penetrate terminal bronchiolar cells, directly damaging and inflaming, and changes begin 18 to 24 hours after infection. Bronchiolar cell necrosis, ciliary disruption, peribronchial lymphocytic infiltration occurs. Edema, excessive mucus, slowed epithelium leads to small airway obstruction and atelectasis. Risk factors of severity are prematurity, low birth weight, age less than 6 to 12 weeks, chronic pulmonary disease, hemodynamically significant cardiac disease, immunodeficiency, neurological disease, anatomical defects of the airway. Environmental risk factors are older siblings, concurrent birth siblings, passive smoke exposure, household crowding, child care attendance, high altitude. Clinical features begin with upper respiratory tract symptoms: nasal congestion, rhinorrhea, mild cough, low-grade fever. Progress in 3 to 6 days to rapid respiration, chest retractions, and wheezing. Examination: tachypnea is there, 80 to 100 respiratory in infants, 30 to 60 in older children. Prolonged respiratory phase, rhonchi, wheezes, and crackles throughout. Possible dehydration, possible conjunctivitis or otitis media, possible cyanosis or apnea. Diagnosis of bronchiolitis is based on history and physical examination. Laboratory tests and radiographs are not required and do not alter treatment decisions. Utility of chest X-ray: large number of infants with bronchiolitis have abnormalities on chest X-ray films. However, chest X-ray films do not discriminate well between bronchiolitis and other forms of LRTI. In milder disease, chest X-ray films offer no information that likely to affect treatment should not be performed routinely, and radiographic abnormalities are variable, including hyperinflation, peribronchial thickening, patchy atelectasis. Chest X-ray may be obtained if diagnosis is in doubt, comorbidity like chronic lung disease, heart disease suspected, or there is no improvement, or if the child is severely ill. Laboratory tests are now routinely indicated in evaluation in infants and young children with suspected bronchiolitis. Virologic testing, generally not warranted in outpatients and rarely alters treatment outcomes. Rapid antigen detection, immunofluorescence, polymerase chain reaction (PCR), and culture of respiratory secretions obtained by nasal wash and nasal spray. PCR is the most sensitive. Differential diagnoses are viral triggered asthma, bronchitis or pneumonia, chronic lung disease, foreign body aspiration, gastroesophageal reflux or dysphagia leading to aspiration, congenital heart disease or heart failure, vascular ring, bronchomalacia, complete tracheal rings, or other anatomical abnormalities. Bronchiolitis versus asthma. In asthma, age is more than 2 years of age. Bronchiolitis is less than 2 years. Asthma fever is usually not there. Bronchiolitis fever is positive. In asthma, family history is present. History of allergy positive. Response to bronchodilators positive. In bronchiolitis, no history of allergies. Family history negative, and no response to bronchodilators. Course depend on comorbidities, usually self-limited. Symptoms may last for weeks but generally back to baseline by 28 days of life. Infant more than 6 months, average hospitalization stage are 3 to 4 days. Symptoms improve over 2 to 5 days, but wheezing often persists for over a week. Disruption in feeding and sleeping patterns may persist for 2 to 4 weeks. Severity assessment. AAP defines severe disease as signs and symptoms associated with poor feeding and respiratory distress characterized by tachypnea, nasal flaring, and hypoxemia. High likelihood of requiring IV hydration, supplemental oxygen, or mechanical ventilation. Risk for severe disease: SpO2 less than 93% in any amount of oxygen, SpO2 less than 76% in any amount of oxygen with congenital heart disease, persistent tachypnea, respiratory rate more than 70 under 6 months of age, respiratory rate more than 60 in 6 to 12 months of age, respiratory rate more than 40 in 1 to 5 years of age. Apnea plus minus bradycardia, severe respiratory distress, any child whose condition is bearing. Admission criteria: those having apnea requiring oxygen to maintain saturation above 92%, requiring support with hydration or nutrition. Lower threshold may be there for admission is those with pre-existing lung disease, congenital heart disease, neuromuscular weakness, immune incompetence. Age less than 6 weeks with corrected age, prematurity, family anxiety, attendance. Therapy: acute bronchiolitis is in majority of cases is a mild and self-limiting illness that can be managed on ambulatory basis with supportive care alone. Management mainly consists of educating parents about adequate feeding and to report any deterioration such as increased difficulty in breathing, chest in drying, or problem with feeding to an appropriate health care. Supportive care remains the cornerstone of the treatment of children with bronchiolitis. It includes maintenance of adequate hydration, provision of respiratory support as necessary, and monitoring for disease progression. Fluid administration: assess hydration and ability to take fluids orally. Children having dehydration or difficulty in feeding safely because of respiratory distress should be given intravenous IV fluids. For children who can tolerate enteral fluids can be given. Also, in case risk of fluid retention is there, and urine output should be monitored. Nasal decongestion: saline nose drops and cleaning of nostrils by gentle suction may help to relieve nasal block. Monitoring for determining deteriorating respiratory status: continuous heart rate, respiratory rate, and oxygen saturation monitoring. Blood gases if in ICU and has severe stress, change to intermittent monitoring as status constantly improves. Respiratory supports: humidified oxygen should be given to maintain saturation above 92%. Keep saturation higher in the presence of fever, acidosis, hemoglobinopathies. Being carefully in children with heart disease, chronic lung disease, and prematurity. Mechanical ventilation if PCO2 is more than 55 or there is apnea. Summary of interventions used for management of acute bronchiolitis. Interventions with clear evidence of effectiveness is the supportive care, supplemental oxygen with IV fluids. Interventions which are possibly effective: nebuloid bronchodilators, epinephrine or salbutamol, nebuloid hypertonic saline, dexamethasone, and inhaled epinephrine. Interventions which are possibly effective for most severe cases: CPAP, surfactant, Heliox, and aerosolite ribavirin. Interventions which are possibly ineffective: oral bronchodilators, montelukast, inhaled and systemic corticosteroids, chest physiotherapy, antibiotics, steam inhalation, RSV polyclonal immunoglobulins, inhaled furosemide, inhaled interferon alpha 2A. These are not effective. Chest physiotherapy is controversial, not recommended, doesn't improve clinical status, reduce oxygen need, or shorten hospitalization, may increase distress and irritability. Bronchodilators are generally not recommended or helpful. Subsets of children with significant wheezing or personal or family history of atopy or asthma may respond. Trial with adrenaline, hypertonic saline, salbutamol, ipratropium may be given. Therapy should be discontinued if it is not helpful or when respiratory distress improves. Bronchodilators in meta-analysis, it was found that epinephrine included with salbutamol, terbutaline, ipratropium compared with placebo, there was no significant difference in improvement in oxygenation, hospitalization rate, duration of hospitalization. Another study found that epinephrine versus placebo. One study found that there was on day 1 there is significant reduction in admissions. but not at day 7 post-emergency department visit. Bronchodilators produce small short-term improvements in clinical scores. This small benefit must be weighed against costs and adverse effect of this agent. And one of the 10 study, epinephrine versus placebo, found significant improvement. In epinephrine versus salbutamol, 4 out of 16 outcomes favored epinephrine over salbutamol. Hypertonic saline nebulization with 3% saline results in significant shorter length of hospital stay as well as lower clinical score as compared to nebulization with 0.9%. Corticosteroid not recommended in previously healthy children with their first episode of mild to moderate bronchiolitis may be helpful in children with chronic lung disease or history of recurrent wheezing. Prednisolone and dexamethasone are the corticosteroid used. Inhaled corticosteroid not helpful acutely to reduce symptoms, prevent readmission or reduce hospitalization time. No data on chronic use in prevention of subsequent wheezing. Antibiotics not useful in routine bronchiolitis. Presence of infiltrates or atelectasis on X-ray film may not indicate bacterial infection. Should be used if there is evidence of concomitant bacterial infection like positive urine culture, acute otitis media, consolidation on non-standard therapy like Heliox, mixture of helium and oxygen that creates less turbulent flow in airway to decrease burqa breathing. Only small benefit in limited patients. Anti-SB preparations like palivizumab, no improvement in outcomes. Surfactant may decrease duration of mechanical ventilation or ICU stay. Complications are highest in high-risk children. Apnea is the most common in youngest children, those with previous apnea. Respiratory failure around 50% of overall. Secondary bacterial infection around 1%, those children who require intubation. Discharge criteria stable and improving. SpO2 maintained more than 92% and air for period 8 to 12 hours including a period of sleep. Feeding adequately more than 2/3 of normal feeds. Family confident in the ability to manage. Adequate home support for therapies such as inhaled medications. Discharge advice and education. Refrain from smoking. Symptoms may persist for 10 to 14 days. Reinfection may occur. Increased risk of breathing after bronchitis. Caretaker education. Expected clinical course should be planned. Proper suction techniques. Proper medication administration and indication for conductive physician should be planned. Outcomes mortality. Overall less than 2% in hospitalized children. Mean mortality is around 2.8 per lakh live birth. 79% of death occurred in children less than 1 year of age. Death 1.5 times more likely in boys. Approximately 20% of death occurred in children with underlying medical conditions. Mortality rate decreases with increasing birth weight. Compared to 1.5 kg to 2.5 kg, there was significant decrease in mortality rate. Association with asthma. Infant hospitalized with bronchiolitis, especially RSV, are increased risk for recurrent wheeze and decreased pulmonary function tests. Frequent wheezing odd ratio is 4.3. Infrequent wheezing odd ratio is 3.2. Reduced to FEV1 up to age of 11. Association of RSV with later asthma may reflect predisposition for asthma or increased risk for factors for asthma. Prevention. Good hand washing, avoidance of cigarette smoke, avoiding contact with individuals with viral illnesses, influenza vaccine for children more than 6 months age, and household contacts of those children. Palivizumab, humanized monoclonal antibody against RSV. Indications are prematurity, crawling lung disease, congenital heart disease, given monthly through RSV season. Thank you.